But I think that the humanities also add a different dimension to that in terms of thinking, in terms of innovation, in terms of looking at things from a different perspective. And I'll give you a recent example that I thought was fascinating. I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to spend some time at the University of Oxford and with a small group of executives there. And one of the most fascinating presentations was from a gentleman who is, his specific title is a mathematical biologist, I think was the correct term. He built the first model of the artificial heart. I mean, his specialty is the human genome. And he came in and with a prop of a guitar sang, and his argument was why we are not our DNA. And it was a fascinating, obviously his expertise is the DNA, but he also is using the arts to show why we are not completely our DNA. And it was a fascinating use of that to make people think differently, to spur on some of that, just introspective thinking. One of the other presentations that I thought was fascinating was a theater expert. And I'm one of those really literal people. I get uncomfortable around really artsy, symbolic. I think that's because that's my family, probably. But this young woman was incredibly talented. These are all leaders that were in this executive education group. Did an unbelievably moving demonstration of the importance of leadership by acting out some specific portions of, I guess it wasn't technically Henry V, it was Henry IV, if you remember at the end of Henry IV when he's lost his father, the king, and there's a coup against him, and he has to leave his drinking partners behind and ascend to real leadership. There's a battle. It was fascinating. And I think those are the kinds of things that as academics, with access to all of these colleagues from a university setting, you have so much at your disposal to bring to those partnerships with business and with the legislative area. I'm delighted to be here with you today and look forward to some of the questions and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Art, we'll go with you next then.
Very well, thank you. I believe I'm here as a representative of the right side of the equation. Industry is sort of the pull on graduate education and perhaps a partner in defining the requirements for graduate education. So I thought what I would best do today would be to share what we've learned over the last couple of decades on what industry actually needs in terms of capability of graduates and why that's so important to sustaining industry's innovation and growth, not only in the United States but worldwide. First of all, I thought it would be important to talk a little bit about what do PhDs do in industry anyway? I mean, is that widely known or well known or even of interest? And I think if academia is going to be a partner in inspiring students all the way from elementary school, can we hire them today, all the way up through graduate education. So I thought I'd bring a couple of examples. I had the opportunity to work with a PhD operations analyst in Flensburg, Germany, to do the calculations necessary to improve the performance of a manufacturing line's automated equipment by 15%. Now, just think for a moment if you can do 15% more work with just by doing a couple of calculations, or you can do 15% less in the same period of time. That's a big deal, and it's a big deal to factories. Factories struggle for decades to improve a yield by 1 or 2%. And Tom did it in 3 days, 15%. And he's improving the software and the sequencing of an automated piece of equipment that was made in Japan So that's the kind of work PhDs do. They get in and twiddle with an existing piece of equipment and make it do magical things that even the people that designed it didn't think it would do. That's one example. How many people here have a cell phone that can run movies, download media? How many? Okay. The codecs that allow media that you would see on a movie screen or a TV or PC that translate those media onto a small screen using the navigation features of your device was actually invented by Motorola in the early 1990s by PhDs working on software that would do this translation automatically so you didn't have to push a whole bunch of buttons to resize it or make it work. And lots of kids are really interested in that right now. Imagine that you're a firefighter or a police officer and you've gone to the site of some urban disaster and you have 4 or 5 trucks, 6 or 7 police cars, commanders and scene commanders shouting, people pulling hoses, dropping things on the ground, ladders going up, and you get an important call on your radio, and you can't hear it. So the people that worked very, very hard for more than 6 years to define software that would take out the noise and keep the voice so that firefighters could hear an emergency call over a radio in the middle of that din were 2 PhDs in audio engineering. And that technology is now translated to cellular wireless earpieces you can buy and put on your radio or with your cell phone, and into other devices that will be coming out that have clarity as the main point and audio quality as the main point. PhDs solve that problem. Something that will be coming soon. People like to watch sports on TV. Anybody in the room? You have a favorite soccer team worldwide? You like Brazil? Do you like England? Any of those? Well, a system has been demonstrated in Mexico that allows you to watch a soccer game. And several interesting things have accrued now. Because the image is full of pixels, and those pixels change with time, you can actually, if you know the rate of change across the screen of pixels, you can do a mathematical calculation in software and predict where the next change will be. So imagine you're watching Ronaldinho or your favorite soccer player, middle of field, kick a ball across the field, and your TV now allows you to see where the ball's going to go. Does that sound interesting? Anybody watch football and see the first line, the first down line on the screen? Isn't it interesting the people playing the game run over that? We've actually talked to people that have gone to the game and said, "Where's the line? I can't see the line." That was developed by a couple of PhDs in our media group, and they really have a lot of fun with this. So you can be watching a soccer game and your TV will allow you to go click on a player. You can call up a menu to see the last 5 goals they made, little video clips, to see if this one was any better or any worse than those. You can click on another menu item to order the shirt. You can see their stats from the last 5 games. These things are developed by PhDs. I think another issue is how can we enable people coming out of graduate school to be more successful in industry? And I think one of the factors that inspires people to finish graduate school education is the view that they can be successful after all that work, all of that debt, all of that cost, that they can actually be successful in their next job and be able to enjoy a good life. Our business, like many others, has become incredibly international. And I just ran an engineering symposium worldwide using virtual technology, so we don't have to have people fly in from around the world. And we had a whole lot of people trying to go to the internet and ask us questions about where was Sri Lanka. This is an unfortunate byproduct of education in the United States recently, but a lot of folks don't know where Sri Lanka is. And we happen to have 50 software engineers in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, and 26 of them presented in our symposium, which was really nice. But it would have been nice if most of the folks knew where Sri Lanka was. I think along with that, simply internationally aware. You know, I'm able to greet you in Portuguese, bem-vindo. I'm able to greet you in Chinese, ni hao ma. I'm able to greet you in Russian, здравствуйте. How many people in your company or your academic world can converse with people in other languages and can make them feel comfortable if they come visit you or you visit them. Very, very important. Not only to just greeting, but also the functioning of global teams. In our company, almost every new person that comes in schedules their first meeting with their international team at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Please. We need some of this.